Want to know what a real man would tell their lady about love and life? You're in the right place. This is Hello Ladies with Rom Wills. Rom Wills is a speaker and author of several books on relationships. Grab some wine, sit back, and enjoy.
Hello, ladies. Welcome to my spot. Men raised in two-parent households versus single-parent households. Now, this was requested by That Love Girl 12 because I did something similar about women raised in two-parent households versus single-parent households. I'm going to be honest with you. It's a little bit different with men. I mean, you have some similar dynamics, but then you have some different dynamics. Now, with men... Now, the dynamic that's similar to what the woman is, it still depends on how strong the man is, right? You know, especially if we're going to talk in terms of him being more dominant, being more alpha. How strong is the man? Who's running things in that household? Now, if a man grew up in a household where the man is the man, he's the father, he's dominating, he running shit, that boy going to grow up and thinking, okay, he going to go out and do the same thing, right? He gonna do the same thing. Exact same thing, right? Now, if he grow up in a home where the man is the weaker of the two, well, he might be awfully confused. He might think this is normal. And so what he do, he'll go out and get that. In fact, one situation I've seen more than a few times, right? You'll get that man, he'll grow up there, right? He'll grow up in that environment. And he'll bring home a dominant type of woman who's similar to his mother. In fact, that's generally going to be his first imprint anyway, right? So he's going to bring home, and usually what happens is, if the mother might get along with that person. Because the mother might be, when you get that, and really if you get situations like that, a woman, if there's whatever traits she might not like in the father, or whatever traits make him like less dominant, she's going to encourage. She's going to encourage the development of it, because a woman like that's not going to want any dominant males. Even if that dude somehow come out naturally dominant, she's going to try to kill that streak in her, right? So, but in general it's a good thing. It's a good thing because he can follow along with the father, right? Now, the single parent household, it's kind of like I said for the women. With the women, I said, it depends on the relationship with the father or father figure. Right now, in a single parent household, it's still got some nuances, right? Like in most cases, it's a bad thing. It's just pure and simple. In most cases, if a young man grows up with just a single mother, he has plenty of respect for women, right? But it might be an unhealthy respect, especially if she has some issues. Right, it's basically he'll see women as dominant and supposed to dominate. Like I've seen some poor cases of this, like pitiful cases. There's one cat, he actually follows a philosophy where women are totally dominant, but then they don't want to mess with him. And a group of us were trying to tell this dude, it was like, dude, women really don't like submissive men like that. I don't care what they say, right? And he was fighting us on it. I mean, and this was a dude could count the number of times he had sex, period. Not even women, but just period, right? And we trying to say, man, you need to get rougher, because he thinking it's totally normal for a woman to dominate, right? And a lot can happen. Now, there's some exceptions here with a single parent that could mitigate the circumstances, right? They can mitigate it, right? Because technically, I grew up in technically before I was put in my grandmother's custody at the age of 10, that was a single parent household. Right? Technically, right? But one of the things that can mitigate it, if there are other male figures around, that was a case with me. I still had my grandfathers, I still had my uncles and everything. Now here's another thing. This one instance is very rare, right? Very rare, and this is something I face. Even though it was technically a single parent household, even though I was a child, I was probably the most dominant person in there. And you get some cases like that where the mother is incapacitated in such a way where the boy has to grow up quick. And he has to do something, because it was a question of an incapacitated mother and an autistic sister. So it was like Rom didn't have anybody telling him what to do, right? Only person who would really try was like my grandmother and my uncle. They the only ones who could kind of rein in on Rom. But then, what did I say? Uncle, father figure. So they could rein in. And then I learned to, take the best traits of the different men in my environment, right? The best positive traits, everything from street soldiers to, men in the family, ball coaches, stuff like that, right? So some dudes could do that. And then related to very close to my situation is a situation where I call it the little man situation, where it might be a single mother and basically she puts what should be put on a husband or even a boyfriend onto the little boy. And unfortunately that can get messy sometime. We don't talk about, I don't want to start a conversation about how like boys are molested by older women. I don't want to start that conversation, but you can have a situation where, like a woman, you ever see that situation and she calling that dude, she ain't calling him her son or anything, but like my little man or something. And she forces him to be dominant. Now I'm gonna tell you what, a little boy who gets that energy around the age of 6, women can't mess with that dude. Like a controlling type of woman need to like stay away from that dude. All right, if she's controlling, because he's not going to allow it, because he's been basically groomed to be a controlling man from the time he was a child, ironically by a woman, because they'll put some heavy stuff and they'll expect him to do stuff. You might get some mothers, and like we ain't going to get into the extreme part of it where they want him in the bed too, but just the basic stuff of they'll be like. Expect him to be more responsible than like a normal child would be. Like children need to be allowed some degree of being a child, but some parents might put a little bit more on them. That's something I can attest to personally. They expect you, and then you just think it's normal. And this is something I tell people. That's why one of my weaknesses is I don't have too much patience for any males who act like children if they reach a certain age, because I ain't never have a childhood. So, but that could be something. So, once again, I'll say it like this. In general, a man raised in a 2-parent household should be pretty strong. And then a man raised in a single-parent household, he'll have a tendency to be weak. Except for all those exceptions that I've rendered, right? Because, like with the little boys growing up, there can be something. As long as, I'm going to tell you what, all these kids who are in single-parent households, all these boys, when I take over, like, the world and stuff, right, I would put every single one of them, if there's not a parent in the home, I put them in a rites of passage program. And take them, it's like, as soon as they get ready to turn 13, it would be a boarding school or something where they're away from their mother for, at least a year. And they would be trained up as men. Like, and sometimes you get that. You get some, a good thing for some boys who grew up in single-parent households is to join the military. Because sometimes that drill sergeant might become that father figure. They need a father figure bad. That's why you get some of these real poor neighborhoods, but you get all these kids who are real good at sports. Sometimes that coach is the father figure, right? So it's like that can help them. But if those kids who don't play ball or anything, don't want to join the military, they can be a real problem. Because they see the mother as dominant, and whether they like it or not, they'll take on a lot of traits. So, but in general, both men and women need both parents in the home. Maybe, I got to check to see if I did something on circuits of the brain, but in order for somebody to fully develop, they need both that masculine input and that feminine input for them to develop into a truly healthy human being. When either one is deficit, that's when that's really the biggest problem, That's really the biggest problem. Like, even if someone doesn't want to get married, Like it could be a dude, he can be a full-time father or something, but he still for his children, he still need to be at least alive with a female that could be the mother figure. It don't necessarily have to be a wife or something. It could be his own mother, a grandmother, aunt, something. But they need that energy. Yeah, I might do something on that, but that sounds like my deep thought stuff. So anyway, right? That's all I got for now. I'm getting a little tired and hungry now. So anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. Peace and blessings.